have we made these decisions over the last decade that gets us to where we are now, where we can properly end austerity for good. Labour trashed the economy last time it was in power, like it always does. Let's just remember, the Shadow Chancellor talked about cuts that were made to public services over the last decade. Let's just remember what we inherited, the absolute mess that we inherited in 2010. A deficit, 10% of GDP, £150 billion in borrowing in that year, the biggest budget deficit in our peacetime history, the biggest budget deficit of any large industrialised nation. They were borrowing, Mr. Speaker, £5,000 a second. The deepest recession that we had seen in almost 100 years. And, Mr. Speaker, he talked about the bankers. Which government gave us the biggest banking bailout in global history? The last Labour government. That was our inheritance, Mr. Speaker. And it was absolutely clear that had that continued, that unsustainable rate of spending, with no link between what was coming in and what was going out, the country would have gone bankrupt, just like it did with Labour in the past when we had to go cap in hand to the IMF. That is the legacy of every Labour government. It took Conservatives to clear up Labour's mess, bringing the deficit under control, bringing debt under control, to have it falling for the first time in a generation in terms of proportion of national income, reducing taxes for 40 million people, backing millions of businesses, and a jobs miracle. More people employed today in Britain than at any other time in our history, the lowest unemployment rate since 1975. And the Shadow Chancellor talked about the impact on economic growth of our policies. Let me tell him about the impact on economic growth. Since 2010, since Conservatives were back in office, our economy has grown by 18.7%. That is faster than France, faster than Italy, faster than Japan. I'll tell him about the risk to the economy. The only risk to the economy is the Shadow Chancellor, his policies, and the entire party opposite. They have a tax hike, Mr. Speaker, for everyone. They have a tax hike if you happen to own a garden, if you want to give a gift to someone, if you want to go on holiday, if you own a home. Whoever you are, they've got a tax hike for you. They want to raid private pensions. Just this week we learned more about their plans. They want to confiscate 10% of almost all of our large companies. That's £300 billion they want to confiscate from pensioners from their private plans. Mr. Speaker, they also want to renationalise industries. Is it 7, 8, 9? I don't know how many industries they want to renationalise.
Order. Please resume your seat, Chancellor of the Exchequer. Thank you. I would just very gently point out that there is a difference, long understood and observed, between a debate in which there is a free play of arguments, ideas and commentary on policies, and a statement. Yeah. And the Chancellor of the Exchequer, with a little bit of encouragement from me, delivered a statement, and he has been questioned on the statement, and to the questions he's supposed to provide replies. It's not an occasion for a general political debate. No, I know exactly what the situation is, and I've got very much more experience of these matters than some of the people who think that they can criticise, so I do know what I'm doing. So the answer is, provide the answers to the question. Order! Provide the answers to the questions, and then other colleagues will have the opportunity to question the Chancellor. Requires just a little bit of versatility on one's feet. The Chancellor.
Mr. Speaker, I have to say I didn't detect many questions, so I'll finish very quickly, because I didn't give an opportunity for members to ask proper questions. The simple truth is, Mr. Speaker, Labour are unfit to govern. They would not deliver Brexit. They would wreck our economy over again, and hard-working families will pay the price, and we will not let it happen.
Mr.